Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. In today's video, we're going to be continuing Naruto, King of the Clouds. What if Naruto was a cloud ninja, part 5. There isn't going to be a video recap and we're going to get straight into the story. So if you haven't, please check out the previous installments so you can be up to date as we continue into the next part. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can always stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Without further ado, let's get into today's story. As Naruto and his team found themselves under attack, Minato would find himself in an even more precarious position, as he found himself sitting at the negotiating table with the third Tsuchikage, Lord Inoki. It's so nice of you to finally invite me, Lord Fourth. I was beginning to think that you held a hostile grudge against me. Of course not, Lord Third. I've enjoyed the peace tremendously. I just believe we've never had a good chance to get properly acquainted. Well, seeming as how speed is your expertise, I must say, perhaps the yellow flash of the hidden cloud has lost his step. I assure you, my speed is as ever more prevalent as it's always been. That may very well be. But no point beating around the bush. I've enjoyed the hospitality greatly, but we have business to discuss. Really? And what might that entail? I think you know. The territory between both of our nations. It's rotten and gone to squander. They already have given up their rights to be a shinobi village, so I believe with all due respect, if you're not going to make a move, then I think that this is where that conversation comes to an end, Lord Third. And just why is that? It was agreed that the territory would remain neutral. They do not wish to have any shinobi presence from either the cloud or the stone. They wish to remain independent and allow their country to build, at least in their own way, and that should be respected. Respect? Respect is only given to those who have the power to earn it. We're dealing with a nation that's on the edge of squander. They have nothing left and they can barely provide for themselves. Whatever money they do make, it hasn't gone towards their restitution. And it's been almost 20 years. And it doesn't help that the last war is what brought them to that point. By the end, their village became nothing more but a battlefield between the great nations, and the people have suffered more than enough for it. To add shinobi presence would only boost their protection, or at least whatever fleeting protection they have left. They can hardly afford any of the missions they send for, and when they do send for them, they ask entirely too much and we're left entirely underpaid. You have the land of lightning and it suits you well. If you have no reason for the territory, then I believe we should be able to step in just fine. The only reason why I've come here is to ensure that you of the hidden cloud don't get involved in our affairs. You act like it's just that simple. I believe it is that simple, Lord Fourth. You have no reason to get involved in a situation that doesn't concern you. Fighting for people whom you've already mentioned want nothing to do with your nation. The way I see it, we'll gladly take the brunt and free you of your burdens. And yet I can't help but feel as though you're only in this for yourself. What do you mean by, we all know that if you tried to gain this territory, it would move you closer beyond the land of Earth. I would say that the Hidden Cloud have definitely been keeping tabs of your whereabouts and movements recently, Lord Third. Keeping tabs on me. We've seen the moves that the Stone have been making into the smaller territories. It was agreed upon after the Third Great Ninja War that the smaller territories would be left to their own devices and would not be interfered with. It's easy when someone who sits atop the throne can make such sporadic decisions. I will remind you, Lord Fourth, that not everyone shares this notion of peace that you and those of the Hidden Leaf wish to preach. And I'll have you know that sooner or later, the time will come where you won't be able to hide behind that vain smile of yours. I don't believe there's anything vain about it. Is trying to keep the peace really so wrong? Inherently, no. But is it so much easier to keep the peace when you are the one who holds the sword at everyone else's throat? The Hidden Cloud wish for nothing but peace with the other nations, and I believe the Hidden Leaf follow the same suit. And yet, why does it seem as though when the favor of fortune is upon us, you two seem to be the ones to benefit more than any of the other great nations? I'll have you know, it's not only the Stone that feels this way. I've heard rumblings of those in the mist as well as those in the sand who also agree. We can no longer afford to bide our time and allow for us to fall behind to the other great nations. Action needs to be taken if we are to survive as well in this world. You sound as if you've already made your decision. Not necessarily. After all, this is negotiating. I believe that we could pay you handsomely if we took the territory for ourselves. At the very least, you wouldn't have to deal with any potential revolts from those who remain. I know that they won't go peacefully, that much I'm aware of, and even still, I would not want you to have a troubled conscience. If this territory is not worth fighting for, then you have no reason to interfere. Now do you? In the meantime, Naruto and his team found themselves locked in 3 separate battles, all taking place at the same time, however across in multiple locations, as each one found themselves engaged with a different stone shinobi. First, Karui engaging with Kurasuchi in the forest. A stone ninja? Karui would ready herself with her hand on her sword. What are you doing here? And just what business do you have with me? No business per se. Although, I am going to have to ask you to leave this territory though. You see, the people here are now under our jurisdiction, so there's no need for you to trouble yourself. I'm sorry, but in case you haven't noticed, we don't rock the same headbands, so I don't take orders, especially from you. Well, this wasn't really an order, more so than just a suggestion. You see, you have 2 choices right here. You can walk away with your life, or you can stay. Although, if you stay, you won't be staying with the world of the living very long. It's not a threat. It's a promise. Karui would draw her sword as she went charging towards Kurasuchi. Kurasuchi would dodge, although she had to admit the girl was pretty fast. He even forced her to pull out 2 kunais, holding one in each hand, as the girls engaged in a furious dance of blades. When it came to the use of the blade, Karui definitely had the advantage. Kurasuchi couldn't deny it. Although Kurasuchi definitely had the home field advantage, seeing as how this area was one that she scouted and would be to her benefit. As Kaori continued her attacks, Kurasuchi would dodge effectively, Kaori feeling like she had her on the ropes. "What's the matter? You had all that talk, and yet you're the one that's running away. If you think that's what I'm doing, then you've definitely got a long way to go before you can truly call yourself a shinobi." Kaori would go for another slice, this time believing she had hit her mark. Kurasuchi would feel a warm trickling of blood flowing from her chest. She had been hit. So much for all that talk. I didn't want to have to do it, but you didn't leave me any... Before she could finish her sentence, a large explosion would occur. Kaori would be sent flying, only barely covering herself from the burns and the scarring, as she looked up and realized she had struck a tree, and the tree had been coated with a paper bomb. What the... I know for a fact that you were fighting me. Kaori would turn around to see Kurasuchi leaning against the tree once again. You weren't too bad. I mean, I think you could have been just a wee bit faster. Kurasuchi would squish her hands together, giving the indication that Kaori was still lagging behind. Kaori would go for another strike once again as Kurasuchi would dodge. Jumping into the air, Kaori would follow her close behind, appearing behind her as she went for yet another strike. The strike seemingly hit Kaori on the back, only this time, Kaori would disappear in a poof of smoke before another explosion would occur, forcing Kaori back to the ground. As she tried to regain herself, holding her blade close at hand, she had realized she had struck a log, the substitution jutsu, and the paper bomb. But when did she... Kaori looked around in the forest, but there was no sign of her enemy. However, as she went to take another step, another explosion would occur. Slowly, the area would morph and change. Is this genjutsu? There's no way I've been caught in one. Kaori closed her eyes. Using her chakra, she would attempt to release herself from the genjutsu, believing that it had worked, as Kurasuchi appeared right in front of her, delivering a sucker punch straight to her face. Kaori responded by going for yet another slash. She had seemingly hit Kurasuchi in the throat. However, Kurasuchi quickly disappeared. In her place, another tree, another cut paper bomb, and yet another explosion, blinding Kaori in her eyes as she felt another punch to her gut and then another kick to the face, knocking her to the ground. No, I know I released myself. Come on, release! It's not that simple, sweetie. If you think this is just a genjutsu, you're surely mistaken. You're now caught in my trap. I hope you've enjoyed this forest, because now it'll be your grave. Omoi found himself standing in an open field. Standing across from him was a blindfolded stone shinobi. Omoi would charge immediately at the blindfolded ninja, believing that he had the upper hand as he drew his sword. The shinobi stood completely still, almost as if he hadn't registered that the fight had started. However, as Omoi went from a strike from behind, the shinobi would catch the blade with the front side of his foot, blocking it away at the last moment as he delivered a series of kicks towards Omoi. Omoi holding up his wrist as he attempted to guard against the strikes. However, the blindfolded shinobi would not let up his guard. Every strike that he landed, it felt as though Omoi was being smashed into by a boulder. The shinobi was sure in his footing. However, as he continued to keep his eyes covered, Omui thought that he could have the advantage. However, that wasn't the case. Even when Omui had managed to get behind him, a roundhouse kick to the gut sent him reeling. You know, you got some flashy moves. It's a shame that they're predictable. Although, what do I expect from someone that has to wield a sword? Don't act so smug. You haven't won yet. And you still haven't answered my question. What have you done to my sensei? Is that what you're concerned about? Your sensei? I'd be more focused on myself if I were you. You see, right now, you're at what I call a crossroads, my friend. This can go one of two ways. You can hightail it back to your village, or you can stay here and face the consequences. I won't be deterred so easily. Let's see how you like this. Omui would run through a series of hand signs. Ninja art, lightning charge. A shroud of lightning chakra infused into his blade would emanate in sparks as Omui picked up his speed. I don't care how strong you are. It really doesn't matter if you can't stop me. Omui would go for a strike. However, the shinobi would hold up his forearm having changed into a color that was darkly black, and his skin revealing something of that being as hard as stone. Hidden ninja art. Ebony obsidian. Omui would be sent reeling, his sword unable to make any marking. Your arm. You like that? Years of practice have brought me to this point. You may use a weapon, but I am a weapon. And then finally there was Naruto, whose battle in the mountains had begun. Naruto dodged as multiple beams of light came at him from every which direction. Naruto ducking and hiding between the boulders jutting from the mountainous side, as the flying shinobi loomed over him, looking to vaporize him in one strike. Lightning style, lightning clone jutsu! 3 lightning clones of Naruto would appear before him. As one jumped into the air, 2 Narutos would stand behind him. Ninja art! Wind style! Naruto stream! With a gust of wind, 2 Narutos using wind-style ninjutsu would push Naruto forward into the air as he drew his sword quickly, looking to cut down the flying ninja. How about I bring you back to the ground with me? Eat this! Naruto went for a side swipe. However, the shinobi was able to move past it effortlessly. It doesn't matter how fast you think you are. In the end, you'll never be able to touch me. In fact, you won't be able to lay a single scratch. I guarantee it. Naruto landed back to the ground with his clones behind him, standing on guard and waiting for the next volley. Just who are you? Why the hell are you attacking me? You could say that those were a warning shot. This is your only warning. Get out of this village, get out of this land, and go back to whatever piss hole you squatted from. I see. So you're rude, disrespectful, and you're a pain in the ass. It's like you just wanted to hit the trifecta of things that pissed me off. Naruto stood on guard, ready for the next assault. I can tell from your look, you're the son of the 4th Raikage, are you not? Minato Namikaze. And so what if I am? Well, this definitely changes things. Immediately, the flying shinobi would point 2 fingers at Naruto. Particle style, light beam assault. Instantly, multiple light beams would come falling down towards Naruto. Naruto grabbing his sword. While holding it, he would weave through a series of hand signs. Ninja art, frenzy strike, lightning dance, level 1. Naruto on one foot would begin spinning. As he spun around, he used his blade to deflect the multiple light beams that came towards him. This was what he called the frenzy strike. Infusing a little bit of lightning chakra into his nerve system, you could say that it sent a bit of a jolt. This was something that his father advised him not to do, since it could likely hurt him more than help him. However, the results spoke for themselves. For just a few moments, Naruto's senses would be in overdrive, allowing him to move freely, almost without even needing to think. His blade swung around and moved in an unorthodox manner, but to strike away at the beams coming towards him, they were rather effective. In fact, he was able to use the blunt end of his blade to deflect some of the beams back towards Ku as he went flying in the air, trying to avoid a few strays. He definitely is like his father, one that's wild and unpredictable. But even still, he doesn't have what his father has, and that'll be the difference. Ku would use his particle style to strike at the ground, causing Naruto to lose his footing and fall. Immediately, Ku went swooping into the ground. Before Naruto even had a chance to react, he palmed struck him in the face. Earth style, heavy boulder jutsu. Keeping his palm on Naruto's face, he slammed him into the ground while activating his jutsu. Naruto tried to move, but it wasn't just the pain that kept him from getting up. His body, it felt heavy. He felt like he was holding an entire mountain on his body. His chest felt like it was going to cave in. I can't move. And you're not going to. Having the Raikage's son, this could make negotiations much easier. Negotiations? There's a lot you don't know. And that's fine. I don't expect you to understand. Just know that if your dad doesn't play nice, you might never see him again. You bastard! Before Naruto could finish that statement, everything went completely dark. In the meantime, in the base of the village, the elders stood as the leader of the stone shinobi had come to face him. Old man, and just what does a shinobi from the hidden stone want to do with me? You're the leader of this village, if you can even call it that. I am the leader, and what do you want? We know that you've been in contact with the hidden cloud, despite having expressed orders for you not to make any acquaintance with them. If you were to have any dealings, you were to speak solely to the stone. I never agreed to such decision. It was implied. Well, I came here to offer you a forewarning. The cloud ninja you hired here, well, it seems as though their services will no longer be required. Is that so? And I take it the hidden stone is just so gracious as to offer my little home a helping hand. But of course, it's what we've been trying to do from the start. And yet, I can't help but notice when my village came under harm from that earth slide, you seem to be conspicuously absent. But yet the moment that I implore for help from the hidden cloud, you seem to make yourselves available. Well, we can't help you if you're not having open communication. In the end, it would be highly beneficial if you would allow Stone to assist. I see. I mean, that is only fair. After all, I would hope that if you were taught properly by your parents, you would clean up the mess that you make. And just what are you getting at, old man? It doesn't take a genius to know what's going on here. Extortion. You're forcing my hand because you want to be in this village. Well, I'm going to tell you for a final time. You will find no business with us here. We want nothing to do with you. And yet you were willing to call the cloud. It's better than the alternative. Look, old man, we're tired of your games. This is a direct message from the Tsuchikage. You will either fall in line, or we will lay waste to what remains of your village. If you try to receive help from anyone. Before the stone shinobi could finish, a bird would fly down to his hand, holding a note. After reading it, a satisfied smirk would appear on his face. This is an interesting development. You never said you would be imploring the assistance of the Raikage's son. The Raikage's boy? Don't play dumb. Well, it seems it's worked in our favor. You'll be giving a message to the Raikage. You'll tell him that you no longer require his services, and that his shinobi should return home immediately. And if I refuse, you won't just have this village's blood on your hands, but you'll have this boy's blood as well. I'm sure you don't want any more children dying for your sake. The old man would grit his teeth, thinking that Naruto was in danger. He and his friends all for his sake. If you lay one hand on, you'll do what? Don't come to me with empty threats. You gave up being a shinobi a long time ago. You threw away your right to have any pride as a ninja. You are nothing but weak and pathetic. If you ever make a threat at me again, I'll show you the true meaning of fear. Do as you're told. The stone shinobi would leave him, and the old man would have much to consider. In the meantime, both Omoi and Kaori would just narrowly make their way back. The old man pondering what to do as he saw the two battered and beaten shinobi as they collapsed to the ground. They had seemed as though they had been in the fight of their lives and had only narrowly escaped. What's the matter? Have you two been harmed? Shinobi from the stone. We don't know where they came from, but they don't want us in the village. Please, have you seen our master? We have to get in touch with him. And Kaori would look around. Where's Naruto? This concludes Naruto, King of the Clouds. What if Naruto was a cloud ninja? Part 5. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, And hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue One Piece Omniverse. What if Luffy had the Omnitrix? East Blue Saga Part 5. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.